Tonight, we heard that the only practical fuels are oil, natural gas, coal, and nuclear power. The others, solar, wind, geothermal, they're just insignificant. So far, they can provide no more than a tiny amount of the energy we need. So, what if global warming is a real threat? What if we do need to use less coal, oil, and natural gas? What then? Nuclear? It doesn't emit greenhouse gases, but it scares people to death. Japan just this week announced we are canceling our plans to build nuclear plants. Other countries have done the same, and America isn't eager to rely on more nuclear power. There's the meltdown problem, the radioactivity problem, the terrorism worry, and the problems with disposing of the spent fuel rods. No wonder people say, I don't want nuclear plants anywhere near me. The risk is just too high. But what is acceptable risk? I mean, let's assume I'm a greedy businessman and I want to introduce a new fuel. You're the safety regulators, you, and you get to decide if I should be allowed to put customers at risk. So let's say my new fuel is cheaper than oil. That's good. And it'll reduce our dependence on OPEC. Also good. It emits greenhouse gas, but not as much as oil. So all that's good. But the problem with my fuel is that unlike oil, which is flammable, my new fuel is so flammable, let's say it's explosive. And it's also invisible, odorless, and deadly poisonous, and I want to pump it into your house. So you're the regulator. Will you approve this new fuel? What about you? Should it be allowed? Who would approve this new fuel? All right, a couple lunatics in here, but let me rephrase it. What if I would promise you it'll just kill 5 Americans a year? Who would approve it then?
Yeah, I'm just not sure that if it's going to cost even 1 human life, it's morally defensible to use.
At home, what kind of stove do you have?
Gas.
Gas? And those of you who didn't want this fuel, how many of you have gas stoves? That's the fuel I'm talking about, natural gas. It's not new. We already use it in half the country. Half the country has gas stoves. You don't want to approve a fuel that most of you have. Natural gas is highly explosive, invisible, poisonous, and odorless, yet we accept it, even though it kills not 5 Americans every year, but more than 50 every year. Explosions. People blow themselves up. But we accept it because it was introduced before we got petrified about risk. We accept coal, even though mining it and shipping it is nasty and filthy and kills lots of people. But now we're terrified of nuclear energy. Chernobyl, the worst nuclear disaster ever, killed 30 people. Japan's nuclear plant killed no one. It's not to say that radiation from those disasters won't eventually kill more people, some people, but coal and natural gas kill people every year. Of course, now the banana people are scared of natural gas too because of the fracking that gets it out of the ground. I call them the banana people because the expression used to be NIMBY, not in my backyard. Now I think it's banana. Build absolutely nothing anywhere near anybody. But how can innovators keep improving our lives? And how can America compete in a world economy when we're so afraid of risk? It is true, today we're exposed to more dangerous sounding chemicals and technologies than ever before in history. And fracking does involve using some nasty chemicals that can cause problems. But we can manage that. We've been managing that. We've been using all those chemicals and technologies for decades now. And what happened? They haven't shortened our lives. Today, we live longer than ever. We forget that at the turn of the last century, most people my age were already long dead. What's lengthened lifespans 30 years is the very technology that we now fear. All energy involves risk. That's part of life. We should let the free market sort it out. But if we let the most fearful people decide for all of us, then the lights will go out. And that's our show. Good night.